A for April and A for artichokes. Well, here in Fremont anyway, it's choke season. It's time to get on out here and do some cutting on my artichokes. I have a few different varieties growing out. This one right here is an Italian heirloom. It's an older fashioned thing. It's got little barbs up there on the tops. A little bit more like its thistle ancestors. Right over here we got one of the late model USA type varieties. This is Imperial Star. Imperial Star is completely free of barbs, just doesn't exist at all. So this is a thornless artichoke. It also tends to make a pretty large choke. One of the problems we have with artichokes is ants and aphids. And so when you go out to harvest your artichokes, you're going to want to take a look down in there and see how many aphids you got stuck around the thing. I see a few in here. It's not bad. It's usually pretty desirable to go ahead and throw these in the sink for a little while and kind of rinse them out in water to try to drive all the ants and aphids out of them. These here heirloom varieties, since they are more open in their nature, they don't get the aphids as bad. Aphids get in there because the ants farm them. Ants will run up and down the stalks and then get the aphids colonized up in the top of the artichoke, and they'll harvest the sugar from the aphid. That's what it's all about. They're farmers, the ants are. And it doesn't really hurt the artichokes much, but it sure grosses people out when you take some chokes off the plant and throw them in a pot and you got a whole slick of aphids floating all over the top and ants and the whole mess. They're all good to eat too, but you know, it's an appearance thing. It's all in mine. Anyway, so looks like I got an awful lot of ripe chokes out here. I'm probably going to go ahead and cut a lot of the ripest ones off today, because I can take them and steam them, and then put them in the refrigerator cold, and later on I can make artichoke salads and other cool things. We can also use the hearts in artichoke and pasta. So we go to harvest the chokes. You'll see right here we have one that's on the top of the stem, but just below it here there's a little guy. Same thing here. We got a big choke here, little choke down there. So I usually go ahead and cut the stalks off in such a way that the little chokes can continue to develop. So this stalk here, for instance, would be cut right there. Okay, so take that one off like that. This stalk here has that stalk there hooked to it, so we cut this down low right here. Just like that. In the case of this stem right here, that doesn't have any chokes on it till we get right down here. And so that stalk will get cut off right down here. Just like that. There you go. Which will actually take care of a trio of stems that were on there. Now these Imperial Star, we got a perfect choke right there. That's a beauty. Right down here below it, we got a little choke hiding under the leaf. That choke will continue to grow. So again, in this case, I'm going to cut it off right here. Well, that's about all there is to it when it comes to harvesting artichokes. They're going to continue making chokes as long as the weather stays cool and as long as there's moisture in the soil. They don't really have a on and off switch. Artichokes near the coast in California, right out facing the Pacific, they go on almost all year long. Here in Fremont, they're a little more seasonal. We get two waves, one in late winter, early spring, and then another one comes around during the fall usually. But sometimes when we have a very mild winter, we get them in the middle of winter, and other times when there's a cool summer, we also get them all summer. So the vegetable's a little bit unpredictable. When the main stalk is finished off, you cut the whole thing right flat to the ground and let new shoots come up from underneath. Here's an example of the new shoots that can come up right here. You see a couple of younger plants. This is where the gopher nailed my artichoke. I lost one of my plants to the gopher from hell earlier this year. After he got done tunneling through here, I went and stuck everything back in the ground. And so we got new plants coming up. That's how you treat your artichokes. Don't let the old wood lay around. You cut them stalks all the way back once they're done making chokes. So if you're lucky enough to live in an area of the country where artichokes are possible, I really don't think there is a better perennial vegetable. This is one of my favorites. It's a natural here in coastal California, but it is just such a fine perennial vegetable. It comes year after year. This stand of chokes has been in spot in my garden for over 16 years. And just keep coming on, coming on. It's just a wonderful vegetable. I can count on it at least twice a year to produce vegetables for me. And I'm kind of lazy about it. I don't eat them in the standard fashion where I take them apart leaf at a time like a lot of people do after steaming them. I tend to steam the whole works. Then I cut off the bottom end of the choke and use that in salads or in marinades or in pasta dishes or in omelets, and I kind of pitch the rest of the stuff. But hey, I could be that way. We got a lot of chokes here we got to make it through. Alrighty, so happy gardening. And if you haven't got an artichoke plant in the garden, maybe you want to give one a try this year. Enjoy.